is Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Cooper versus Jenkins. Mr. Cooper, you are suing Miss Jenkins for injuries that you sustained when her dog bit you at her house while you were providing a service. You've asked this court to award you $18,000 for past medicals, $12,000 for future medicals, $250,000 for pain and suffering, for a total award of $280,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Jenkins, you claim that you gave clear instructions as to what Mr. Cooper was supposed to do, and had he followed those instructions, he would have never met your dog, true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's get into the legal sauce. Now, what kind of service were you providing to Ms. Jenkins?
I'm a HVAC repairman, sir. Air conditioning and heating.
Yes, sir. How long you been doing that?
About 10 years now.
What led you to provide service at Ms. Jenkins' house?
I worked for a company, and I was out doing another service call. I just put in an air handler, and the dispatcher gave me the work order for Mrs. Jenkins.
And what were you supposed to do at her house?
She just said the AC doesn't work. To tell you the truth, a lot of times I don't know what I'm in for.
Ms. Jenkins, so you had a hot house.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And you needed him to come and make it cooler.
Exactly.
Tell me about that day.
Well, Your Honor, my air conditioner was out, and it was very, very hot. There was a heat wave, and it was unbearable for me and my family. So I called an air conditioner company just to see if they can get an air person out. And they said yes, so I made the appointment for him to come out. And so just to stay cool, I went to stand by the pool until he came.
So, Mr. Cooper, when you arrived at the house, what happened?
Well, I was supposed to text the customer, and I did, and I got a text back, and they told me where to park, and usually they tell me where to come in. I got a text that said, go through the door on the left.
And who sent that text to you?
I believe it was her son.
Tell me how you got injured.
I pulled up into the driveway like they asked me to, and I pulled under some trees because I didn't know how long I was going to be there, and if I'm there late or whatever, I want to eat some lunch, I don't want to be in
Yes, sir.
like under the blazing sun, so I parked under the trees, and I looked, and they said, enter through the door on the left. So
okay.
I looked over to my left, and there was a door. And, the front door is there, too, but I haven't once been welcomed yet in the front door of somebody's house because I got tools, and I got grease and, everything on my boots, and they don't want me to walk right through their front door.
Had you ever been to Miss Jenkins' house before this day?
No, never.
So what happened?
I go and I start looking around, and usually, there's an outside door, and this is just usual, and there's an outside door, and I walk into it's either a room or a small garage or a mud room or whatever, and then there's another entry door.
Okay.
And there's been so many times that I'm banging on that one door, and nobody comes out, that I've just, naturally, since I was there for a work order, I would now just start going inside, and I'll knock on the inside door.
Okay.
So I go and I shut the door, and I start moving towards the other door, and I hear a noise, and next thing you know, I got this dog. It latches onto my arm. My tools drop. I mean, the thing was ripping. I never heard flesh rip before, but I'm sitting there, I'm pushing on the dog, and it's ripping, and finally, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I felt bad for the dog because I punched it in the head, and it let go of my arm, and then it grabbed a hold of my leg and pulled a piece of flesh off my shin.
Are you kidding me?
So then I kick it off my leg, and then it jumps back on my arm again. It was horrible. I thought, well, this is where I'm going to die.
So this dog was mauling you?
Yeah, I couldn't get it off of me.
And you thought you were going to die?
I was pretty sure because by that time I had blood in my eyes, and I couldn't see the SWAT or nothing. I was sure he was going for my neck.
I guess if you went down to the floor, this could be a death case.
Oh,
Miss Jenkins, is your dog capable of killing somebody?
Not at all, Your Honor. Not at all. My dog is not vicious, Your Honor.
What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Pancakes.
Pancake.
Yes.
Okay, he looks like a good guy.
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing.
And you raised him from the time he was a puppy?
Yes, I raised him from the time he was a puppy, and I got him professionally trained.
Okay.
Yes.
You had a trainer work with him?
I had a trainer, yes, because I needed him for protection, Your Honor.
And this is Pancakes as a little guy?
That's my baby. Oh, yeah, that's Pancakes.
Now, Mr. Cooper, that's not the dog that bit you, right? Not that little puppy, it's the other one.
No, that's the dog. And everybody's acting like, the poor little dog. She said he had the thing trained. That thing is trained to kill.
I did have him professionally trained. You just didn't follow instructions. That's what it was.
Ms. Jenkins,
Yes.
How did you know something had gone wrong?
Okay, actually, I heard a noise from by the pool, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So I went in, and I saw Mr. Cooper bleeding all over my carpet, and I was like, okay, basically, so I attempted to call the ambulance and to get some towels to help him.
He must have been bleeding a lot for you to get towels.
He was bleeding, but you know what, Your Honor? I believe he provoked my dog, because at the end of the day, if Mr. Cooper wouldn't have walked through the wrong door, we wouldn't be in this court right now.
I mean, if they say I didn't follow specific instructions, if they were specific, they would have said go through the front door.
You say he went to the wrong door. How would he know what door is the right door or the wrong door?
My son texted him the instructions on which door to go in, and I
Okay.
brought the evidence.
Yes, ma'am. You've submitted that to the court.
Yes,
Let's take a look
did.
at it. Could you read your son's text, Miss Jenkins?
This is Peter, your AC technician. I'm on my way. Where should I park? You can park in the driveway. Go to the door on the left. Copy that. Be there in 20 minutes. That's what he texts back.
Mr. Cooper, do you remember receiving this text?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Miss Jenkins, you submitted a diagram of your home.
Yes, sir.
Walk me through this right door, wrong door issue.
He was supposed to park in the driveway, get out of his car, go to the door on the left. My dog is secure here because we have him secure, you know, from the neighbors and everything else.
Yes, ma'am.
But since he didn't follow instructions, apparently he couldn't read, he parked in the wrong place.
I can follow instructions, I can read, but I'm not a mind reader, okay?
Okay, but
You
so
say,
if you're
go
not a
through the
mind
door on
reader,
the
you
left.
can't read.
There's two doors
you
on the
cannot
left.
read. You're such an idiot, and you
should have
can't
been-
read.
I appreciate you all having a conversation, but two things have to happen. You got to talk to me, and we will not insult anyone in my courtroom.
I apologize.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Cooper,
Yes, sir.
you say the instructions weren't clear. Come over here and tell me what you understood those instructions to tell you to do.
You got it, Your Honor.
Take your time.
Now, when I got the text, and I mean, this is where it gets kind of weird. When I got the text, he said, pull in the driveway and go through the door on the left. Right? So I pulled in, I went under the trees, and as you can see, Your Honor, there's two doors to the left. I went, I got my tools out, and I said, well, it's got to be this door. It can't be the front of the house. And the thing is, Your Honor, if I knew there was a dangerous, vicious dog in the house, I never would have went in there.
My son gave him specific instructions on where to enter. If he thought,
Your Honor, there wasn't
If
specific
he
instructions.
thought that the instructions wasn't clear, he should have retext my son. Can you clarify the directions?
I
And we
fully
would not
understood the
be-
directions.
No, you
If
just
you had a
couldn't
vicious
read.
dog in the house,
No,
you should have said something
Pancakes
about
is
it.
not-
Y'all are at it again.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Gotta have order in the court. Miss Jenkins, Pancakes have never bitten anybody before.
Pancakes has never bitten anybody before.
Now, Miss Jenkins, you brought your son with you today,
Yes, Your Honor.
and his name is Mark.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jenkins, would you stand up, please, and come to the podium? Mr. Jenkins, you sent a text on behalf of your mom.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
What did you expect Mr. Cooper to do?
I expected Mr. Cooper to pull to the left side of the house to the front and go through the front door. He did not do that. He went to the left area of the house where she already stated where we keep the dog, Pancakes.
Did it surprise you that Pancakes bit Mr. Cooper?
No, he's a guard dog. If you just walk into our house unannounced, that's his job.
Did you tell him you had a guard dog?
No.
Now, Mr. Cooper, you had no idea there was a guard dog, right?
Well, and I tell you what, if I knew, I wouldn't have gone in that door.
So, Mr. Cooper, tell me about your injuries.
On my shin, they had to do a skin graft because one time he was biting my shin and I kicked it and just ripped the whole piece of flesh off. That's something I'd never heard before in my life.
Are you
flesh
kidding me?
ripping, you know? And then on my knee, he grabbed a hold of my knee.
That is a nasty, nasty wound. That's on your leg?
Yeah, and you can see how deep it went. I mean, every time I would try to get the dog off of me, it would rip my skin.
Miss Jenkins, you see, this was a very scary day for Mr. Cooper.
You're right, Your Honor. But at the end of the day, if he would have followed the instructions that my son texted him, it wouldn't have been a scary day for him.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you.
You can sit down. Thank you. You've submitted $18,000 in past medical expenses and then $12,000 for future medical expenses. So your journey's not over as to these injuries.
Well, no, I got physical therapy, and there's still stitches in my leg right now. And my fingers right now, I can't clench them together. you know, to do like work on my job. And I mean, I don't know if it means anything or not, but I play guitar. I can't even play guitar anymore. I can't walk. I can't do my normal job. I can't even go to the bathroom at night without my cane. You know, now this is it. This is how I get around.
Mr. Cooper, in order to understand the nature of your injuries, the court has consulted Dr. Samantha Brown Parks. Sheriff, if you'll get Dr. Brown Parks in.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good day, doctor. How are you?
Good, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Could you explain the nature of Mr. Cooper's injuries?
Mr. Cooper has several injuries, scratches and puncture wounds to his hands, his arm, and very impressively to his knee. So the dog punctured his skin and also tore back as he was puncturing. Dogs tend to bite and tear.
What's the actual mechanism of destroying the flesh?
Actually, I've brought a video. Can
Well,
I
let's
show
see it.
you? So this is an attack dog training video, and it shows the dog. It goes mostly for the limbs first to bring its victim to the ground.
Okay.
So as it's pulling it down, it injects its canine teeth into the flesh and then does a back and forth motion with its neck to actually tear the skin loose.
So what's the future look like for him?
It would not be unusual for him to have multiple revisits for scar revision.
Doctor, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're released. We appreciate you. Ms. Jenkins, you don't seem like you take any blame for this.
At the end of the day, it was his fault because he
Well, it
shouldn't
wasn't.
have walked through the wrong door.
Well, I
He should have
want to
been-
understand this. Did you, your son, or anyone tell him that Pancakes, the guard dog, was there on your property?
Your Honor, can I show you something?
You brought something.
Yeah.
Sheriff,
I have
Matt,
right
will you,
here.
will
It's
you
a
retrieve
work
that?
order, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm kind of.
Ms. Jenkins, did you see this work order?
Actually,
That is your signature, right?
yes, it is.
Is it fair for him to assume, looking at this work order, that there is not a dog on your premises?
I didn't check the box about a dog because a lot of times when you do, sometimes they don't send service people out. Sometimes because of the dog. So
And then
I
they do,
didn't.
so-
lie.
Yeah, but
they're
I did
eaten
not
by a
They're
check
kind
it.
of worried
No,
about this
sometimes they
very
don't.
thing, though,
But
right?
at the end of the day, Your Honor, he went through the wrong door. I don't understand why he couldn't follow instructions.
I know that you walked through the side door and you were mauled by this dog.
Yes, sir.
But you gotta acknowledge that had you walked through the front door, you probably wouldn't have met me today.
No, I wouldn't have. And if I knew there was a dog on the premises, I wouldn't have walked in any door.
Folks, I think I've heard what I need to hear. I'm ready to render my decision. In every personal injury case, the plaintiff, you, Mr. Cooper, must prove three things. You must prove that the defendant, Ms. Jenkins, did something wrong. That's the first thing. The second thing you must prove is that her wrong caused the third thing, your injuries. So it's like a three-legged stool. Here, you put up evidence that Miss Jenkins had a vicious guard dog sequestered in a room. You didn't know the dog was there, and you also weren't clear about which door to go in. You went to the door to your left as you parked, and you now are requesting this court to award you a lot of money for your injuries and your future.
Yes, sir.
Miss Jenkins, you all acted responsibly. Isolating Pancakes, had Mr. Cooper come to the right door, this never would have happened.
Yes, sir.
In fact, Pancakes has never bitten anyone before. The law recognizes something called the one bite rule. That is, believe it or not, your dog does get one bite. After that, you as the dog owner are on notice that he can bite someone, and you would be liable if Pancakes had a history of snapping at or being aggressive. But that does not let you off the hook because you have a special dog. You have a dog in that vicious category, and it holds you strictly responsible when your dog hurts somebody. But in addition to that, your directions simply were not clear. I think it was responsible to give directions, but left depends on where you park. And in that regard, I find you responsible for Mr. Cooper's injuries. Mr. Cooper, I'm going to award you $18,000 for your past medical expenses, $12,000 for your future medical expenses, and $250,000 for your pain and suffering. I find in your favor in the amount of $280,000 and against Ms. Jenkins. That is my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned.
Thank you, Ron.
Our attorneys across America just viewed this case for the first time. Let's hear what Gary Martin Hayes has to say.
In many situations, owners will not be held liable if their dog bites someone trespassing on their property. But the rules change when someone is invited onto a property, either for social reasons or for a business purpose. Here, Mr. Cooper was called to fix the air conditioning, and the defendant failed to warn him about the dog. The plaintiff was hurt as a result and proved that Ms. Jenkins' wrong caused his harm.